Here's a question for aspiring screenwriters. Is it possible to make the movie Passengers better with some relatively minor changes?
Yet we are debating.
Hello, beautiful people. My name is Alexa.
Most of us have two lives, the life we live and the unlived life.
Are you guys ready?
Our job in life is not to shape ourselves into some ideal we imagine we ought to be, but to find out who we really are and become it.
You know, I don't think this is a really bad film. After hearing reviews from friends and online, I sort of expected it to be, but I think that feeling was mostly disappointed expectation. Passengers is by no means a train wreck. It's just really, really predictable.
Oh, really?
The plot goes like this. After the interstellar spaceship Avalon malfunctions, Chris Pratt wakes up from hypersleep 90 years before he's supposed to, 90 years before anyone else on the ship. He can't go back to sleep, he can't contact Earth, he can't get to the ship's controls. He tries to do all of these things and fails. As a year passes, he grows increasingly sad and hopeless. So eventually he decides to wake up another passenger, Jennifer Lawrence, condemning her to the same fate, essentially death, in order to give himself some more company. He acts like it's another malfunction, he doesn't tell her. After a while, they fall in love. She finds out the truth, gets really mad, and then the ship begins to really malfunction. So Pratt sacrifices himself to save it, but in the end she saves him. They fall in love again and spend the rest of their lives alone on the ship, happily ever after.
Boring.
When Jennifer starts to fall in love with Chris, but doesn't yet know the truth. We know the truth is coming, there's a little dramatic irony there, and so we wait with increasing anxiety until it does. And when it does, predictably, Jennifer freaks out, predictably, and we feel a little sadness, predictably. At this point, exactly an hour into the movie, the script has sort of written itself into a corner. Because Pratt is the real main character, because we spend 30 minutes alone with him at the start of the film and see everything through his eyes, there's really only two paths to take regarding the central relationship. Either he dies, or she forgives him. In both ways, he finds absolution for the sin he committed. What if you rearranged the movie so that Jennifer Lawrence was the point of view character, not Chris Pratt? What if the film began with her experience? Well, I couldn't stop thinking about it, so I re-edited the existing footage to see what would happen to the story.
Good morning, Aurora. How are you feeling? You just spent 120 years in suspended animation.
First of all, the first act changes its tone entirely. With the original first act, you're wandering around the ship with Chris Pratt. You learn cool things, you see him come to terms with the situation, have fun, get depressed, and finally reach the ethical dilemma that's meant to animate the movie. What you see is what you get here, which makes for a somewhat passive viewing experience. It's an amusing sequence, but that's mostly down to cool production design and Pratt's always charming performance.
Guess I am gonna die of old age on this ship.
But in the new first act, the story is infused from the start with mystery. When I made the editing changes, I was genuinely surprised by just how creepy Pratt's character is when you take away his point of view. We don't know whether to trust him or not, believe him or not, and that makes the audience's experience an active one in every moment.
Do you know what's going on? Nobody else from my row woke up.
Same for me.
As he leads Jennifer around the ship, locations become crime scenes where the viewer tries to figure out what's happening. This, of course, by the way, is what makes Andrei Tarkovsky's Solaris so great. So much has happened on Solaris by the time the lead character arrives that he and the audience have to piece the fragments together themselves. Brainstorming like this is obviously really fun and much easier than actually writing a movie and making one. For all its faults, Passengers is a big-budget movie with a completely original script, and that should be celebrated because it's a dying breed. But a film like this is a good opportunity for would-be screenwriters to think about story, because you can learn just as much from films that don't work.
Hello, I'm the computer voice Passengers. Are you Alexa?
Yeah?
What did you think about that video?
I thought it was really interesting.
Why did you think it was interesting? Did you see the movie?
I did, and I actually did not finish it because it was, exactly like they said, a bit too predictable. And I ended up stopping the movie. So it's very interesting because I hadn't think about it in this angle. It would have been a way more interesting movie if they did it like this.
Did you think the movie was terrible? What would you rate it out of 10?
No, I don't think it was terrible. Well, I didn't finish it, so that does say a lot. But I did, I give it 6 out of 10, maybe. I mean, I like the images and yeah, it was, yeah. It's really disappointing because it could have been a great movie and I thought it was gonna be, but I don't know, I guess I had high hopes and I was disappointed.
Why did you want to see the movie in the first place?
Because of the 2 main actors, mostly. And then it just looked really cool. The visual looked amazing, and I thought the story would be really interesting. What's your name? No name, okay. She's gone. Cool. Now I'm talking to myself for real. Okay! That was odd. So this was a very interesting video. I hope you guys like the video. So please like, subscribe, comment, let me know what you think. What you thought about the movie and what you thought about the possible changes in the plot. And yes, as usual, love you guys.